Well, it wouldn't be a bull run without some good old-fashioned Tether FUD. Now, Tether, in case you don't know, is the USDT stablecoin whose value is pegged to the dollar and which is supposed to be backed one for one by dollars. Now, for many years, all sorts of drama has surrounded the biggest stablecoin in the market, with many people saying that it's going to collapse, it's a scam, it's a fraud, it's going to take Bitcoin down with it. This came up again recently regarding an investigation which is currently being carried out by the New York Attorney General looking into the allegations of fraud, investigating Tether. So in this video, I will discuss the Tether FUD and whether you should be worried that this is going to bring Bitcoin down. My name is Lark, and this is resubscribe for all of the hottest and all of latest happening out here in the crazy markets. By the way, if you are not yet a member to the Wealth Mastery Investor Report, then you should definitely check it out. Every single week you are going to get an altcoin report, deep dive altcoin report. We do a trending coin analysis, an interview with an industry leader, top tier technical analysis, the latest token sales, and much more. All of that for less than $10 a week, making this one of the most value-packed investor reports on the market. So click on the link down below to learn more and don't miss another issue. Okay, so Tether, man, you know, it's just this thing, this thorn in the side for the crypto industry, the specter of Tether. It's always there, the shadow hanging over the crypto industry. And to be clear, I've never been a Tether fan. I've made quite a few videos over the years, looking at Tether, debunking all the craziness behind it. But the FUD circulating right now needs to be brought down because it's getting a little bit silly. People calling for the collapse of the crypto markets because of Tether. Far too many people are out there saying that Bitcoin's going to go, super bear market, going to go back to just incredibly low levels. The new bear market is here, $42,000 at the top. It's all over. Most of that commentary is based on the threat of a Tether collapse. So I think you need to understand a bit of the backstory so you understand who and what Tether is. Well, Tether has a pretty long history of doing all sorts of shady crap, and allegations against Tether are many and varied. Tether, for example, promised regular audits of their reserves. Those audits never happened, and it eventually got to the point of literally a guy who talked to a guy who said that he trusted saw the Tether bank accounts. That actually happened. That was, an audit for them, right? The actual management team at Tether was long hidden. That was until the Paradise Papers leak happened a few years ago. That revealed that the management team at Tether was not exactly who they were claiming to be, and that in fact the management team of Tether and the management team of the Bitfinex exchange were one and the same. The Tether team just kind of updated their website, pretended like nothing ever happened, and just kept on keeping on. This, again, all true. Everything was going just fine, in spite of all that drama, though, for Tether until 2019, when Tether's lawyers finally had to admit that Tether, due to banking issues with some of their banking partners, was at best 74% backed, confirming what many had long believed to be true. Tether only, by the way, admitted this fact because the New York Attorney General had started an investigation in early 2019 into allegations of fraud and market manipulation around Tether. The surprising part, though, is that all that happened back in 2019, and no one in the market really seemed to care. I mean, exchanges, they just kept using Tether, even though there are alternatives available. Then Bitfinex, they came out, they sold like $1 billion worth of some shitcoin that they made up in order to raise funds to make up for the missing 26% of the dollars, which were supposed to be backing the stablecoin. And then everything was kind of okay. Everyone just kind of forgot about it, right? Then 2020 happened. No one really cared about Tether anymore. No one was talking about it. We saw the March crash in COVID, then the market started pumping, and everyone just kind of forgot about it. But Tether is back because the investigation that started 2 years ago, it's still underway. Tether did everything in the books to try and delay submitting the documents, but they have had to do that now. So this is what's happening at the moment. The New York Attorney General is investigating Tether for fraud. on the allegations that Tether printed truckloads of unbacked USDT to pump up the prices and to enrich themselves. On January 15th, they submitted just millions of pages of documents to the New York Attorney General, so the investigation will now be moving forward into its next phases. Now, this is important to note here that this is not an investigation of whether or not Tether is a security, so not like the XRP thing we see happening. This is just a straight up fraud case. Look, I can't say whether or not Tether has committed fraud. Certainly, I would not be surprised. In fact, I'm leaning towards probably. But until the New York Attorney General rules on the investigation, we're not going to actually know the answer for sure. So, the real question you all want to have answered, I'm sure, is what does all of this mean for Bitcoin and for the markets if Tether is found guilty, if they're found, guilty of everything, right? Of the manipulation and the fraud and the pumping the market and all that stuff, right? Well, some say that Bitcoin will crash because the only reason the price has gone so high is that Tether pumped the price higher. I partially disagree with that. Now, a catastrophic Tether collapse would have an immediate, dramatic, and negative impact. There's no sugarcoating over that reality. But a dramatic, immediate Tether collapse may not be the most likely scenario. You see, it's demand that pumped the price of Bitcoin higher, not just, fake Tether being issued in the market, if that is, of course, what's actually happening. Yes, of course, there's correlation between the price going higher and the increased supply of Tether. But Tether is only a part of the entire mix when it comes to crypto market demand. It is far from being the only stable coin on the market these days, although Tether, of course, is still the stable coin of choice for many of the big exchanges, particularly for Chinese investors, right? It's the most popular stable coin in China. It's really big in the Chinese market, and of course, really big with the Chinese exchanges. Remember, too, you got to keep this in mind. Grayscale, the New York Digital Investment Group, Paul Tudor Jones, Skybridge, Ruffer, all these guys, they're not buying Bitcoin with USDT. They're entering with cold, hard cash. This is the institutional Bitcoin bull run. These guys don't play with USDT. They play with dollars, right? They play with bank transfers. Also, Bitcoin and Kraken and Gemini. These are some of the biggest exchanges, and they are all fiat first exchanges. So that's important to remember. And even Binance, which is definitely the biggest Tether exchange, is getting a lot heavier into fiat these days, offering like 30 or 40 different kinds of fiat to be able to invest in. Now, I mention this because there is real money entering the market directly into Bitcoin or Ethereum, and it's not going via a stablecoin. It's not going via Tether. And even though, Tether entering the market now is a lot more likely to be real than in the past, it still doesn't erase all the craziness of Tether from before. But right now, Tether is regulated under FinCEN. They do need to KYC all of their buyers. Maybe they're trying to clean up their act, right? Tether is mostly being purchased by exchanges and by mega whales. But the claims that since the supply of Tether expanded and thus the price of Bitcoin went up means that it can only be a scam is, I don't think, totally true. In fact, I think it's kind of BS. The market is expanding, so when the market expands, you're not going to just be able to stay with $1 billion worth of Tether forever. You need more money. You need more stable coins coming into the market. We also saw the market caps of USDC, DAI, TUSD, and other stable coins have all gone up as well. So weird, isn't it? So weird. It's almost as if there's just a higher demand for crypto dollars as the market goes up. Anyway, it is likely, that Tether could have committed fraud in the past. I would definitely err on the side of saying that's likely to have happened. But here's the thing. Even if Tether is found guilty of fraud, that would not necessarily mean that Tether would be forced to shut down. If that was the case, then there would be no banks left in the world, since every single major commercial bank has been convicted of so many financial crimes, including fraud, multiple times. They just pay fines and move on. Tether will probably be forced to pay a fine, and then probably business as usual will continue. But let's say that some highly unlikely but extreme kind of scenario plays out, whereby the management of Tether is, they're all arrested, the accounts of Tether are seized and frozen. Well, that would be a bad thing, without a doubt. That would likely result in a very dramatic drop for all crypto assets very, very quickly. Then we would see the whales and the institutions, and they would step in and they would gobble up the Bitcoin and just the panic sellers. They love that stuff. They love that stuff. They would just be going crazy for it. And of course, a Tether collapse does not change the fundamentals of Bitcoin. In fact, it has nothing to do with the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's Bitcoin, right? Tether's something else. Also, it would provide a great scenario for USDC to come in and fill the void. USDC has already become one of the most prominent stablecoins in the DeFi market. USDC currently has 1/5 of the market cap of Tether, steadily gaining ground as well as more and more people are switching to USDC. It's really just, I think, the Chinese-based exchanges that keep USDT relevant by not listing more USDC pairings. Now, should some dramatic Tether situation happen, the exchanges, they're not loyal to USDT. They don't care. They would switch real quick to something like USDC. 2021 is not 2017. We have lots of great stablecoin options right now. And hey, quick tinfoil hat moment. Circle and Coinbase could be pulling the strings behind the scenes trying to break down their biggest competitor, which is USDT. We could see some Machiavellian stuff by the USDC team. Zero evidence for that. Pulled it out of my butt, but something to think about. Anyway, here's my honest opinion. Screw Tether. They're a shady company. It has been a thorn in the side of crypto for a long time. I've never liked them. I don't keep money in USDT. I don't use USDT unless absolutely have to for some reason. I've been using USDC exclusively since it hit the markets. I would recommend that you do the same. USDC is a better company in basically every single way. It has none of the baggage that Tether has. It's a highly regulated, highly transparent company. It also remains to be seen too if Tether is actually going to be able to comply with the new Stablecoin Act that's been issued in the United States, recently passed by the US Congress, that would essentially require Tether to get a banking charter, right? To get approval from the Federal Reserve, get approval from the FDIC to fully comply with all US banking laws. Maybe they'll clean up their act, right? Maybe they'll make that happen, but the path is a lot harder for USDT to do that, whereas something like USDC, it's a pretty clear path for them to meet those requirements because they have industry connections with some of the big companies like Goldman Sachs and Visa, so getting that stuff for them is not going to be that hard. Paxos, another stablecoin, they've already started applying for their banking license. They're just doing it, right? Because why not? Anyway, final thoughts. Don't believe the FUD. Don't react too dramatically to the market. The January 15th deadline that came and went and so many people were scared of was only the day when Tether needed to submit the millions of documents. How long is it going to take the New York Attorney General Office to go through millions of pages of documents? How many people do they have looking at this stuff, right? The investigation will likely keep going on for a long time. It could be years more. And regardless of the outcome, whether Tether collapses or not, the market's going to be just fine without Tether. To be honest, it's probably going to be better without Tether. The crypto market, it's trying to not live in the shadows anymore, and Tether is a creature of the shadows, born in the shadows, right? So, long story short, use USDC, stick to safe crypto exchanges, and if the worst possible outcomes happen for Tether, buy the dip, because there'll probably be a big dip in that situation, but buy it, because that's exactly what the whales and the institutions will be doing. They'll love it. Anyway, those are just my two Satoshis. What do you think? Is the whole Tether drama just kind of overblown? Are you kind of in the camp like you're worried about Tether? You think there's going to be a big crash? It's going to take Bitcoin down with it? Let me know your opinion down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.